Ignition liftoff. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
Today we are joined by an unstoppable force behind a game-changing wellness brand. From starting her business in the middle of the pandemic to scaling into a multi-million-pound brand, her journey is a masterclass in resilience, innovation, and purpose-driven entrepreneurship. Please welcome to the podcast, Ama Amo-Agyei. Right, before we get into it, if you like this episode, which I know you're going to, please don't forget to like and subscribe and to share it to your group chat. I'm so pleased you're here.
Thank you so much.
I've been really looking forward to this. I really have. You know that I've followed you on social for a while, and I love watching your videos, and I love how transparent your content is for a founder.
Yeah.
And I really kind of love that this whole movement of founders being really at the forefront, and I find it so interesting. So I'm so pleased you're here. As always, I like to start way back when.
Okay, I'm ready.
So get ready. I'm just always so interested in how people's journeys start, because it feels like it plays such an integral part to where you end up and, you know, the Ama that we now know. So let's talk a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay.
Where was that and how did it look?
So grew up in Berkshire. So I'm not from London, but near London. Near enough.
Yes.
Very predominantly white area, not a lot of people of colour. And I was just figuring it out. My parents were working class. They just immigrated into the country. I'm the only person who was born in the UK from my family.
Wow.
And I have 3 other siblings. And we're all 5 years apart each. So I'm the youngest as well.
Right.
So it was very interesting growing up. Half my siblings were at the house by the time I was 10. So it was just really me and my brother. Me and my brother. And then, to be fair, my cousin, who's 11 months older than me, she moved in at 13. And then it was just me and her acting like she was my twin.
Oh my, do you know, if I let my children have their cousins live with them, that would actually be their dream come true.
It was my dream, I can't lie. I didn't know her. I can't lie, I didn't know her. But once I did, we're literally inseparable.
Twins.
Yeah, so it was incredible growing up in a quiet area. I did enjoy that.
Did you?
I did. I can't lie. I don't think I can do the craziness of London.
Yeah, I think you're either skewed one way or you're not. I really like a bit of hustle and bustle. I do like to get out of it. I'm not in the centre, but I do. There's something about that buzz that I just really enjoy. But my mum is the opposite. She couldn't wait to move out.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I like to dip my toes in and out.
In and out. There you go.
Yeah.
We live in a good area to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it's always so interesting what you think you're going to do when you're a little one to actually what becomes is always brilliant, isn't
Honestly,
it?
yeah. I mean, being Ghanaian, there was 3 jobs: doctor, lawyer, accountant. 3. That's it. I didn't care for any of them. And to be fair, I didn't actually think I knew what I wanted to do for a long time.
Right.
I kind of just stumbled into the world of psychology. As I was picking my options for A-levels in GCSE.
How does one stumble into psychology? I thought you were going to say I sort of stumbled into...
No, not business. No. I don't know. I guess I always had a natural inkling of trying to understand how humans work.
So interesting.
I really wanted to know that. So I remember really watching really deep movies when I was too young. I'm watching Oscar-winning movies at 12. It was so unnecessary, but I don't know. I just really wanted to understand the human experience. And then once I realized psychology was a thing, I wanted to do it. So that's what I did at A-level.
Wow.
And then I was well, maybe I should do it at university. So that's what I did at university. And I was on the road to becoming a psychiatrist. So doctor-ish, but mind doctor.
Yeah. That is so... And you know, it's so interesting because in the Black community, talking about your mind, just, we're not very good in society at that. We're getting better.
Yes.
And I think everyone's realising they need to talk more, but particularly in the Black community, that conversation is really left. It's like a thing that you don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's swept under the rug, and it's so kind of archaic, but it really still is. I see it in my family and I'm if everyone's struggling, we've got a massive family chat that's got to be honest, way too many people in. It's on mute for a year, but I check it.
Fair enough.
You know, like I check it, but it can't be pinging off because there's like side chats that happen in the, you know, and you're like, guys, I've gone through 150 chats by the time I know what's happening. But I'm aware that like I've got nieces and like, you know, of like, as in like cousins' children. And you always want to make sure that you're kind of the new generation know how to talk.
Yeah.
Which is just so interesting that you took that route, because I can imagine it's quite, well, it's the unspoken.
It was very different, and my parents didn't know what to do with that. They were like,
yeah,
okay, like psychiatry, sure, like okay, like it's something.
It's a doctor,
it's
right?
Enough. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough for us. They didn't understand it, and yeah, like it's exactly what you think it is. You know, mental health and all of that stuff was never discussed really.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the turmoil that they went through, like, you know, having degrees and having to leave them at the door once they got to this country and having to rebuild. I remember like when I was 8 or 9 reading like my mum's like uni papers.
Wow.
Bear in mind, like, you can kind of barely read at 9. So like, why was I reading them? But I was.
I love that.
Yeah, so I just remember like there was always hustle. So that has always been in me. I already knew how to work hard because I saw it from my parents from the jump.
Yes, firsthand.
I just needed to figure out a lane. But yeah, the psychiatry, it didn't land.
So part of you then, like you say, in school, then in uni, what about it didn't land for you?
I think for me, it was the fact that how can I, because I'm empath. So first and foremost,
I'm with you.
I don't know if I could listen to such heartbreaking stories every single
And
day
not
for
take
the
it
rest
home.
of my life. Like, I don't know how my mental health would have been.
Yes, very
And like
fair.
80% of people who do psychology are just there for themselves, if we're being honest. Like, if you ask anyone who's done psychology, yeah, it was just a personal kind of endeavor, trying
a
to figure out who they
curiosity.
were. Kind of, yeah, just who am I versus
Yes.
like who's anyone else. So I think from there I was like, okay, I need to figure out another way to do this because I want to help people. That's my life's mission, but I just don't think this is the right thing for me. And then my brother handed me Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is a very controversial book for some reason.
It is.
You don't have to like read it to like
No,
actually do it, but like I feel like it set me up to have options.
it worked for you.
I didn't have an option of business growing up. So that gave me the option and the kind of lane to start exploring what business as a woman could look like.
Yes. And then that's where
That's when everything happened.
it all began. It's so interesting because it can just be those little moments that you stumble upon that you're like, now I get this.
Yeah.
This, you know, speaks to me. I feel seen. That's what I want to do. So do you think it was that moment, that book, that encouraged you to take the leap?
I would say it started it. It started it all. But then I did some more digging.
Oh yeah, of course.
I did a lot more digging. Like I found some really cool people. I ended up stumbling around Shark Tank. I saw Shark Tank, so I had to watch that religiously. I love Shark Tank so much. It's so good, so good.
So good.
So epic.
Yeah, and it just has got that real, like, I don't know if it just is that like American gloss that they bring to it. Is like it hits different.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I was just watching like some of the internet marketers, like Russell Brunson and Grant Cardone and Gary Vee, and I was just starting to like look at everyone, but I started to realize I didn't see many women. So that was confusing.
Really quickly,
Yeah, that was confusing to me because I was, well, isn't this an option for everyone? What's going on here? Or are they just not visible? So I did always keep that at the back of my mind. But I still consume the content to now start to direct me on where I wanted to go.
That's so interesting that at the kind of start of your endeavour, you already sort of had that seed planted, or that was in the back of your mind, knowing that. I was the complete opposite.
Oh.
Yeah, as in, I think because I was in a real creative space and I was in the music industry and then in television, which I still am in television, but it wasn't, sex did not play a part. I really didn't feel it was such a kind of fluid industry where everybody can be creative and try your hand at many different things, that I didn't really realize that what that layer above it at boardroom level, how male that would be, because I kind of was on the surface of like, this is great and everyone's here, but step above I think maybe I just didn't care to know. I just wanted to sing, or I just wanted to host.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think for me, I didn't let it stop me.
No.
And I don't think anyone should let anything stop
Ever.
them at all. But I did think I wanted to change it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that became my mission. As soon as I saw it, I was like, how is this how are they telling us about what we think women buy this? I'm like, eh?
And how many men, bold men, sell hair care to women?
Honestly, it's utterly wild. I was having those conversations about curls, and I was like, okay, this is how mums shop. And I was like, do they?
Do they?
I don't think they do. You know, call me silly, but I've got 2 now, and I haven't shopped like this yet. It's like you say, it's so interesting when your eyes are open to it, you become really, really aware.
Yeah.
I want to know. So the world of business is appealing to you, and that kind of, as you say it, that watching Shark Tank and really sort of deep diving into these like inspirational people, men.
Yes.
What then gave you the passion to do what you do now? Tell us about Plantmade's kind of start. What was that seed that was planted, for want of a better word?
Yeah, so I think it was from birth. So I grew up with eczema. I constantly had to switch out my diet. I had to switch out cow's milk for almond milk. I had to switch out other things. I couldn't eat nuts. I couldn't eat chocolate. Like I had a lot of restrictive diets because like the flare-ups would be insane.
Right.
And then also products as well. I couldn't just use anything. So I remember like my mum used to like make soap at one point just to like make sure that I would be good. And I remember getting prescriptions of steroids and my skin would be so ashy. And I was like, I hate this. I look crazy. There's some creams that I don't know if there was any lighteners in there, but like my skin was like one color one week, another color another week.
That's so interesting.
Just to fix.
What, from like a steroid
Yeah,
perspective?
steroid.
Wow.
And I think there was a little lightning situation going on in there as well. And I just hated that. So I was always very like, that's why I feel like I have a great personality because my parents always changed. I couldn't even try and care about it too much. So I was just like, you know what, let's develop me, who I am. Let's do that. So that was always there. And then I also knew that my parents are very health conscious as well. My dad reversed diabetes via diet. My mum has also had some health scares and she's been able to reverse that as well. These
are like my favourite stories to hear.
But you know what? I didn't piece it together until like the start of Plantmade.
Oh, really?
But I was just like, it's just like, okay, when you look at the journey, it kind of makes sense. So I remember my mum like always making these concoctions for my dad and they're drinking beetroot something. And I'm like, this is nasty. And my dad used to like hand me garlic.
Yeah.
And like I had to
do
drink
that
garlic
with my
like
kids when
paracetamol.
yeah.
I was like, this is so like the smell would not go. Like, you know, like
no, but they
I'm a
hate me
teenager,
for
why?
that. I'm like the garlic with the honey and the hot and the lemon, and they're like, no. I'm like, hold your nose, get down here.
But watch how it's gonna transform you, right?
That.
So I remember like dealing with all of that, and then I lost my hair. I lost my hair at 2020. In 2020, I was 23 at the time. So I was way too young to have that happen. Yeah. But I was in a stressful sales role at the time.
Right.
And I was like, oh, stress causes you to lose your hair? Like, it's not hereditary. It's not in my, I'm not supposed to be losing my hair at 20, so what's going on here? So then it was just a deep dive. Lost my job. COVID happened, right? Like 2 weeks within.
God, this is a full time.
Yeah,
it's
a lot.
You're speaking about this like very factually, but losing your hair
Yep.
at 23,
Yep.
You are already in a stressful job.
Yep.
You were in pandemic.
Yep.
Like there's a lot.
Lots happening.
Yeah.
And then watching the wellness wave like spike. Watching everyone, and rightfully so, it was COVID.
We all sort of become a bit conscious. We were going out for walks. We were all kind of really, like you say, working on yourself. And
a lot of DIY, a lot of, and I was just watching all of that and I said, you know what, this might be the best time to do the thing I've always wanted to do. Have a brand, execute it however it looks, get it out into the world, and also fix my issues. Now, the funniest thing is that brand was not Plantmade. I was actually working on a men's skincare brand because so random.
No way. And why?
Because it was the trend, like, oh, look at a niche that, the gap in the market. Thank God I didn't do that. I don't think I would have been able to execute that. Because I feel like some people think they can make money without connecting with the mission. I don't think I can. I don't think it works without
unless the team are connected to the mission and it's your brainchild, but you've got people that are as connected as you would want to be.
Yes.
How is it going to land?
Yeah, exactly. So that's was where, And then whilst I was doing that, I was mixing herbs and oils together for my own hair after doing like loads of research. And then my hair was growing back. My edges were coming back. My hair was thriving. And people were like, Ama, we know where you were. We know where you are now. What are you doing? So I told them, and they were like, oh, no one can be bothered to do all of that. Like, just sell it to me. I said, I'm unemployed in COVID. Like, okay, I have the time. Let's do it.
No way. So do you know what? The pandemic was such a funny bubble of time. You know, when you look back and you think,
I don't know how we survived those years.
How we survived, like the things that I remember. There's a picture that come up, when your phone shares you, like, this time last year. There was a picture that come up not long ago. And it was me having a conversation with my mum through the window. And I was like, we had, like, it was just a mad.
Wow.
Like, we actually did that. That was a thing. But what it did do was really we focused on small businesses so much which was such a lovely time. It gave you that time, other than like baking banana bread, where you actually thought, we all sort of started to reevaluate, didn't we?
Who are we?
And I spoke exactly that. Spoke to Amy Smale, and that was a time that she started designing logos for different businesses because everyone was starting one during the pandemic, and that's how she raised money for Odd Muse. I think it was such a kind of poignant time. It was terrible, and the wheels had fallen off the world, but actually we did reevaluate and we reassessed,
100%.
and then we like, okay, life's too short, we might as well give it a go.
Yeah.
So you're selling them to then friends.
To then friends, yeah. I'm selling random bottles of oil, no logo, no packaging, just a bottle, some herbal oil in it, and shipping it out via raw mail.
And so is this with a plan that it is to be plant-made?
Yes.
Or it is just, I'll do this because people have asked, like my friends?
So within a month, I realized this is going mad. Like, I turned £100 into £1,000 in 10 days. And I said, okay, I think this is a thing. So let's ditch that random men's skincare thing and let's do this as a thing. So I literally took a month and I just started to ideate. What is this? What's the purpose? What are we trying to do here? At the time, it was strictly hair care. I just wanted to help people grow their hair back and their confidence back with nature. And I started Planted.
It's quite early on that you face quite a big setback.
Yeah.
Because at the time, you're not plant-made, you're planted.
Yes.
Then what happens?
Then 12 months into the business, we do our first million.
I mean, hang on a minute. You're talking these numbers like after the first month, we had a zero.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then after the first 12 months...
Million.
And how, in those 12 months, how rapid was it for you?
It was crazy. First 6 months, so first 5 months, £100,000. This is still from my house. It's from my family home.
How are you? I mean, this is what?
I don't think you want to know.
I want to know.
It was manic. I was sleeping 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. I was making the product. I was shipping the product, marketing the product, customer service, everything. I was doing all of that.
Just you?
Yeah. I would call on some friends every now and again. There was a friend of mine that was at uni at the time. And I was like, if you want some change, just come and help me when you can. Mm-hmm. So it was every other week sometimes, 1 or 2 days. Right. It wasn't consistent at all, but I was literally just living and breathing this thing every single day. And again, it was pandemic time, so it was already abnormal timings. Mm-hmm. It was already strange time. So I was just let's just go with it. So I just had no plan. I was just going with it. and just using some of that marketing that I got from Gary Vee, Russell Brunson, all those people, just all those techniques. I was like tweeting every single day because there was Black Pound Day every month.
Yes.
That happened. I would religiously use that to boost sales. I had before and afters from the first set of customers. So I already had results and evidence. So I was using that and posting that on Instagram and also Twitter. And I was just everywhere. I was literally DMing people even like, hey, I started this business. You have no idea who I am. But like, I have this thing. And if this is a problem for you, like maybe try it. If someone else, could use it, try it. Like I was on like 100.
And also an interesting time because over that time when people were getting COVID, they were losing hair.
Yes. COVID COVID 100% caused hair loss for so many people. Yes.
So, okay. So I'm getting a bit of a tight chest in thinking about how you were facilitating the orders, the turnaround.
It was hell.
What does your house look like at this point?
No, like bus club, no sleep. Like that was the vibes. Like my house was it was, you can step anywhere. The kitchen was full, the living room full of products, boxes, everything, like packages. Royal Mail were like, I was actually, at the beginning, I was actually going to the post office and I was holding up the post office.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be behind you if
no,
I'm doing a return.
Was hell. Like it was hell. And I was like, oh, and everyone, you can hear all of that.
She's back again.
Like, I'm like, sorry guys. And realized you could pick up from the house, started scheduling the pickups, more frequent pickups. I got to move out my house because my mum she really wants to cook her jollof fries. So I need to get out.
She's like, this is it.
I can't do this anymore.
You're doing it right now. Get out. So, okay, right. So then in that first 12 months, you hit £1 million, which is just incredible. When you are planted, trademarking is a lovely little issue. I have been there many a time myself. It's the issue that I say to people, and, particularly now, honestly, if I could scream it from the rooftops, I say, make sure you look at the trademarking before anything happens.
100%.
And do you know the truth is we've changed set now, and in our old studio, we had this picture on the wall because the time that I knew Emma Greed said she could do the podcast, I was like, right, okay, let's turn the studio around. I didn't own the trademark at that point. And I said, look, if we have to change the name, let's not have anything on the wall because then I can't use it. And I don't know when the next time she's going to be over from America. So and I was waiting for it. I now have it, but it took...
Congrats!
Thank you. But I'm so and we started that record earlier than we were going to. It was just a sheer coincidence of luck that she was over and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. But it's one thing that I say to everyone, trademarking is so important. Yep. And if you do it up front, you are going to save yourself so much pain later down the line. Talk to me what happened with you as far as trademarking is concerned.
I knew nothing about it.
Well, nobody does.
I had
always
no
tell
clue.
people is nobody does. I didn't.
I had no clue. And I was like, why, guys? Like, forget the marketing and the product. And let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
Like, the beginning is IP, right? So all of a sudden, trademarking came 12 months later, a bit late, but it came.
So this is you applying for the trademark.
Yeah, so I think about 9 months in.
We're like, we should probably own this. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, let's see. And then I saw her planted. And I said, okay, it's funny. They were like a town over from me as well, which is funny.
No way.
Yeah, so small business. So it wasn't even like the luxury, like big conglomerate coming after me.
Yeah.
No, it was just someone from across town.
Right.
They had dissolved the business.
Right.
So I was like, well, the business doesn't exist, right? So this should be okay, right? So filed the trademark. Then all of a sudden, my mum hands me this letter that's like thick. And she thought it was like a certificate or something. So she was smiling while she was giving it to me. And I was like, if you walk back the events, it's just more traumatizing.
This facial expression needs work. Yeah.
Hands it to me. And I'm with a colleague of mine. And I open it and I'm just like, I feel like my life has just ended. Like, it's just like all the blood just like rushed down to my feet. I was just like, oh my God, what have I done? I just see destroy. I see red. It was so dramatic.
I know this pain.
It was so dramatic. And I was just like, oh my God, like someone help me.
It's so out of your control.
Yeah.
It's so out of your control. And you're like, do that. And I remember I had a similar instance where I call my lawyer, my trademarking lawyer, and I'm like, do I have any legs here?
Yeah.
And when you hear no,
Yeah.
you're like, okay. So what is, and then you just have to try and work out to it being the best solution if you've got someone that's, willing to do that on the other end.
Yeah. And it was tragic because with the growth came not so much a big responsibility, but still big enough, had staff. We went into a storage unit, and then I had signed a lease, a 3.5-year lease into a new building, 6,000 square foot unit.
Right.
So I'm getting handed this whilst I'm doing legals for that.
Oh God. I
So
just
I'm like,
can feel every bit of this
So
pain.
I've just
It's
now
awful.
got big girl bills coming in, still have the staff, need the staff, and I potentially don't have a business anymore. Like what do we do here? I don't know how we figure this out. So I called my lawyer friends, and they were like, okay, I don't do IP, but speak to a lawyer friend of mine. Spoke to a lawyer friend of theirs. They were like, no, you don't have the legs here. You're going to have to figure something out. I was like, okay. Because they were like, I saw payment. I saw a figure that they want to be paid. I said, okay, this is greedy. We're not doing all this. Can we just rebrand? Can you give us a deadline? So we can until
sell through some stock.
August. No, yeah, it was August 31st, 2021.
And this and when you got the letter, it was when?
It was May 2021.
Oh my word. Okay, so that's really not a long turnaround.
No.
And at this point, so from May to August, how you're sat on stock, I assume, in this new
Loads.
Yeah.
Absolutely loads of stock. Again, the new building's coming in. We get the keys to the building in July.
You've now got legal fees.
Yep, got legal fees on both ends for the trademarking. So we had to do a really quick turnaround. So basically, I just decided we're going to do a shutdown sale. We're going to tell customers we're shutting down for a few months, and we're going to have to come back. Now, that was, I don't know if that was the best decision in hindsight, if I'm being honest.
Well, it was now.
Yes, but I don't know if we should have done it and stopped trading for a few months. That I don't think was smart.
So did you stop?
We
You
did.
Right.
So we came back end of October. But that's 2 months of still having to operate the business with no revenue coming in. But we did have a massive August with the shutdown sale. But then what we also lost was our customers, because they didn't know who we were anymore. We would guys, we're plant made, previously planted. They couldn't find us. They were like, where are you?
And this is so interesting. And at this point, are you giving us this founder-led content at this point?
No, absolutely not.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because if you were Ama planted, but you're now Ama plant made,
Yeah.
it's
Easier.
an easy. It's easy. It's still a. We're rebranding, and it's still
Yeah.
it's the brand but it's a different name.
Yeah.
But at least you're the familiar face in front of the brand we trust,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. They don't know me.
That's so hard.
And I'm like, yo, okay, so now we have to kind of start again. Our revenues went so down, and the even more dramatic part about it is that the BBC were now following us around. So we had a short stint. We had a BBC documentary because they saw my tweet announcing the shutdown. So they were like, oh, why don't we follow you guys and see how you come back when you relaunch? Yeah, the relaunch day wasn't the best, and they caught every bit of it, and they made that their episode. So 30 minutes of me tried to keep it together on camera as we're relaunching. But it's real.
And that is, do you know what? I think it's so, when you post something after the fact, which is what always happens with me, I'm too busy getting myself out of whatever I'm in.
Yeah.
That the last thing I remember to do is go, hi guys, let's make a vlog about this lovely day. No, I just am getting me out of this lovely day, and we're problem solving, right? You don't think to turn a camera on, but actually that is so refreshing to see and feel that, you know?
Yeah.
And for you at the time, you probably didn't want a camera crew.
No, I
following you
didn't.
around, but
it taught me a lot.
and look, you can look back at that and think, wow.
It was an
made
amazing
it through.
time. It was an amazing time. And I think for me, it made business realistic, you know? Again, there are people who are successful and people will always go through problems, like in business. Like, it doesn't always have to be a dramatic thing like a shutdown and a trademark, but there are little things every day that are like almost taking us founders out, right?
And the little things they feel like little things now because you've dealt with big things.
Yes.
And it kind of goes, okay, it becomes a little bit of a measure, doesn't it? Like, it's not as big as that time, but it's still big.
Yeah.
But I think the resilience that you end up building is almost like, sometimes I don't know if I want to be this resilient.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if I want to expect that there's going to be a fire to put out, but you
just have
good
to.
at it.
Yeah, you have to be like a boxer. You just have to be like
to the point where if one of my team ring me out there, like, can you talk a minute? I will see that message and it actually can be, can you just talk a minute? I need to know if you can approve this, that and the other. It could be something so obvious and easy and, you know, a day-to-day task. But I read that in about 10 different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, something's happened. Okay, let's roll up our sleeves.
Yeah.
Go on, what? And also, it might not be, there might not be anything happening, but I just feel like I'm always ready.
Yeah.
I'm primed.
Yeah.
Which isn't a place that I feel like I want to live in at all times.
No, I don't want to live here either.
But you kind of have to have that ability to be able to get ready.
This is just the life of a founder. Like, this is just what it is. And this is why not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Because, like,
It's
again,
testing.
There's someone who's a psychiatrist listening to someone's problems and they are able to be there and help them through that. And I can't do that. But I was built this way for this, right? And, you know, my customers seeing their results, seeing them be happier and thriving, that is like the extra layer of fire in me. Alongside my team, alongside, you know, other things that keep me going. So, I mean, it's the game. It's the game.
We say that. It's the game. Like, being sort of 12 months into this and being hit with something so... You came back and you fought back and you found a way and you used your initiative. But that could be something that really just, completely repelled you from being a founder, or because it's not for the faint-hearted, as we just said. But that seemed to really make you dial everything up. I
was like, well, let's go then. Like, I own the name in the UK, EU, US. Okay, I'm free. I can.
Yes.
I'm now calling it building your business in peace.
Yes. And look what I did when I didn't own a name. You know. Okay, so 12 months in, you do this sale. I suppose the sale is to get rid of any planted stock that you now legally cannot use.
Yep.
Was there anything you could do with that in terms of like reworking the stock you had?
We did.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we did. So we relabeled our bottles, and that's really as much as we could do. New packaging, we had to scrap all the one. There's literally a video. I only have one, but there's a video of me like walking in our old warehouse, and I've just got like the team, and you could just see packages. You could just see boxes and boxes and boxes ripped because we had to take out the old packaging out. And of course, then that is another cost because you've got to order new. It's a whole other cost. But yeah, we just had to go. We just had to go. The main mental exercise was getting a new name. Going from Planted to Plant Made, it took me, it took so long.
Can I tell you that I much prefer Plant Made?
Thank you.
No,
so
I do. Which is so, these things always have a funny way of working themselves out, don't they? I much prefer, it's crazy to me. I didn't even know this until I started reading your notes. So was it a conscious, when you're having, I suppose at this point, you and your team sit down and say, which way are we going to do this? It's got to feel right. It's got to still be us. What's the new name? Was it a conscious effort to keep plant in the name, or was there like lots of names, being thrown out on the table?
Utter rubbish.
Okay, go on.
Like,
worst
at
one.
This point, I was like, you're saying slurs to me, guys. Like, like these ideas suck. Like, you know what I mean?
What was the worst name?
Oh my God! Like, my dad even got in, and I was like, Dad, this is not your ministry. Like, he was talking about Eden something. I was like, I hear it. Also, that's 100% trademark. So we're not going to go anywhere near that. We're not doing that. So the plant part wasn't necessarily supposed to be in there.
Okay.
I was like trying. Okay, we can go anywhere. Where do we go? And again, this story just gets even crazier because I was called to jury duty whilst all of this was happening.
Oh
so
my gosh.
How I came up with the name was I'm literally sat in between court.
Doing jury service.
Doing jury service.
Well,
and
they
I
do
come
pick
up
their
with
times, don't they?
Plant Made. And I'm like, that feels like very on the nose. Like,
Yeah.
should it be so on the nose?
Uh-huh.
I remember texting my partner. I was like, Plant Made, what do you think? He was like, I don't know. Okay. I was like, well, let's sleep on it. I was like, give it a week. Give it a week. I can't think of anything else. So let's just go with it. So it wasn't even like I had a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't even anything like that. I was
now.
just like typing random things and Plant made something. I think I heard like God Made. I think that's a clothing brand. I was like, made. I like the made bit. Plant. Now it's got to the point where it's not just a brand. It's like what we do. Like it's not. Oh, it's not a plant-based product. It's not vegan. Sense. It's 100% plant-made. Like now it's like a thing. Like you are plant-made now. Like so it was great because it was more than what I expected the name to be. But we've been able to make it into a movement.
Yes, it's like. Everything really does happen for a reason, and the reason at the time you're like, why this reason? I saw this meme on Instagram the other day that says, just a question, does the process know we're trusting it? I was like, this is me.
I posted that on my stories. I was like, yeah,
trust the process. I'm like, does it know? It does know we're trusting it, doesn't it? And there are times where you're really unsure. Yeah. You're unsure if the process knows what it's supposed to do. So when the first day, August it has to be cleared.
Yes.
Then you have then 3 months off.
Yes.
And you're back.
Yes.
What does the first day look like when you relaunch as Plant Made?
Going off of like a £400,000 month, like August, and then getting your first restock, which is your only restock in October, to be 50K was like, we got to recoup all them months that we didn't trade. And whilst we're trading in this October, we need to be doing something. And then the BBC under my face. Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't realize the severity of the pause and how we really lost momentum.
Yeah. Because
you had momentum is so important in business. And I look at so many amazing success stories and I'm like, oh, I can see that maybe something so drastic didn't happen to the point where you guys, like, a monumental moment didn't take you off course a little bit.
Didn't come yet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was tough that we had to experience it so early, but I was like, okay, we have to figure it out. We have to do what it takes. We have to find our customers again. And just funny, people still say planted to this day.
Do they?
And I'm like, guys, we've
Get
been
over
4 years Plant Made now at this point. Like, but
and also,
it's
triggering. You're triggering me.
But you get to the point where, like, now you think of brand. You think of how powerful a brand is and the brand associations. And, a name is one thing. But when people really think about a brand, it means a lot to the point where it's hard to, like, let go. 4 years. Like, so I'm like, okay, well, whatever we do with Plant Made, that brand needs to really, really be powerful and be everywhere.
And it just shows you continuously have to educate, right? And it always, we were talking about this yesterday in a meeting and we were saying that people will always, and for me, the conversation is, and I actually love this, so it actually doesn't bother me at all, but people say, I didn't know My Little Coco was Rochelle Hume's business. I love that. Yeah. That to me is like, yes. And then I was talking with another founder and they were saying that they didn't realise as a brand that they do kids clothing. And I said, it's funny, isn't it, that people will always show you what you need to educate on and what you need to kind of shout about a little bit more, which is always really interesting. When you think of, you had this so early on, but it actually bring me back to when Kim Kardashian launched Skims that was then called Kimono at the time.
Yeah.
And now Skims is like the biggest brand ever in the world, like up there compared to likes of Apple and Nike, and she's in that conversation. But Kimono isn't. Yeah. But Skims is. Yeah. That it's so doable, and obviously she's sitting on a different platform. But it's so interesting that actually, because she has that loud voice, you would think it would be a lot harder to get rid of kimono as quickly as she did.
But then you realize that sometimes things in business aren't that deep. Like people think so much sometimes about everything. And a failure is a failure, but it can go.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be remembered. And, you know, the same way life happens and life moves on, so does things of the past. Plant made is here, and planted is a thing of the past. And again, it was a mistake that I just hope other people do not make.
I'm with you.
Just
I'm with
build in
peace.
peace.
Because it's, once you know, and I'm in your camp where, how did we not know this up front? Because once you know how easy, like, you would have just been plant made from the start. Literally. If someone gave you an option. Yeah. You know, but sometimes it is finding out the hard way.
I was really surprised that it wasn't taken. I was like, guys, this is a great name.
Yeah. Why has no one got this
What's going on here?
It's fine. I'm not complaining. We'll take it. Because the strategy, to me, I know you're saying in hindsight, you wonder whether or not you should have kind of closed the business for a few months. But I think maybe you wouldn't have had that real surge of that, you know, £400,000 month if you hadn't have done so, which I suppose helped you to be able to sustain those few months that you weren't kind of operating.
It's true. Yeah.
What then became your strategy? Because you're almost, I mean, there's an argument for saying it's a tougher job trying to reintroduce the brand that people know and love that is the same brand, but it's slightly different. To be able to go, no, this is us again, come back over here. It's almost harder than launching a brand for the first time. Yeah. Particularly in that time frame. Because it's so small, people are just starting to understand, but it's then already changed. Yeah.
So some people, there was very interesting accusations. Some people thought it was an ingredients thing. Someone was like, and this is beauty. This is very serious. So you can't really be making these kind of accusations. Did someone have a reaction or something like that? Or Bear in mind, like, someone can have a reaction. That's completely fine, because it's not going to work for everyone.
And also you can, and I'm with you. Like, there can be a particular ingredient that you react to.
Yes.
Whatever product contains that ingredient, you would also react to. Yes.
You
know, there's
like the normal thing, you know, but people were trying to make it like into a thing. Like, was it that? Like,
all the
and we were like, no, it was just a name, guys. It was just a name. We kept the integrity of the products and the ingredients exactly the same, because we manufacture it ourselves and we don't have, you know, we have that ownership over the products. So they were made exactly the same. But then we realized, okay, this is now entering into 2022. This is a new market. Like, this is essentially a new market, new players, new people. Whilst we were gone, there's other people now starting to like naturally help with hair care.
It does just do that so quickly. Yeah.
That's the it's like a never ending hamster wheel kind of sometimes with the market, because there's always someone to compete with or but I like the competition, actually, because it informs me of where things are going, and also that this industry is still hot. Yeah. Right? So what do I need to do? So I know the products are already great. So we launched new products. We are a sustainable brand. So we just further delved more into that. We decided, when our customers were asking us for like a shampoo and conditioner, we decided to do bars. They hated that. And then
that's how I first discovered you, the bars.
Really? Oh my God, that video went everywhere.
Yeah, that's how I first discovered you.
But we were just so on it. And I think we're kind of like very much doing David and Goliath marketing.
Right.
We were very much like, okay, the big beauty corps, we know what they do, launch some very interesting products at times that may not be the best for you. We want to be the alternative. And especially if you have concerns as well. If you don't want to go down, you know, using drugs, steroids, minoxidil, things like that.
It's a different proposition.
We just want to be, like, if you want to get better naturally, this is where you come. You come to Plant Made. That's basically what it is. So that was the opportunity for us that we decided to grasp. And it wasn't actually until 2023 that I actually started to do the founder stuff.
For me, I love it so much. And I think it's because you attach a brand to, of course you trust a brand, but when you can see someone's passion and you can see the everyday, and we see you in the warehouse and we see you instantly, I'd say I invest an extra 20% into something I'd already love, because now I'm invested in you.
100%.
Yeah.
And I love founders.
Same.
So now, like, how I live my life, I'm like, oh, I love you. Okay, great. Let's buy the product.
Yeah, no, but
It's part of the circulation now.
Of course. But that's exactly why when people are known and loved and have a engaged audience and community, that's exactly why those big corporate brands want them as ambassadors, because they know that community will then be purchasing their products, right? And they sort of cast the net wide and go out to as many as possible and recruit that. But when you see it coming from a founder's voice and someone's passion, and it's kind of, that influences me in a different way altogether.
And the thing is, I think it also resonated because I had been there. I showed people what my hair looked like. People categorically could not tell me that I don't have the same hair that they did starting out. So it got to the point where a lot of customers knew us, but I was even getting stopped in the street. And people were like showing me their heads, like, "Hey, Ama, like, can you just recommend me real quick?
Am I doing
and
this
it was
right?"
funny. I was just like, do you know what? I mean, fair enough. I'm not a trichologist, but I know what to get you. This is what you should get. Buy it. But it was like becoming a whole thing, even to this day. Like, yeah, sometimes I get stares and I'm like, oh, they probably recognize me, don't they?
They want me to. They're going to ask me about their hair in a second. I can feel it.
There was one time I was walking in Shoreditch. It was the funniest thing. I was actually standing there waiting for a Uber, and she didn't even look at me. She just walked and she said, "Oh my God, I love your products."
And that's the best. Like, oh my God, that's the best interaction you could ever have. It's the best compliment ever. I want to talk about the growth. You were listed on Sunday Times as one of the UK's fastest growing companies.
Yep.
11 million from £100 is the stat that they use. We spoke about this growth. We've spoken about how quick it happened, and we're talking month on month on then the first year. And then you have the situation that you didn't ever see coming, but you still continue to grow. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's absolutely incredible. During that growth and navigating through that, and you've spoken about the challenges, but there are also many successes. You know, the success speaks for itself. How has the team changed from the £100 to the 11 million? Well, I know that it isn't in your mum's house anymore because you got the boot. How's the team changed, and how has your personal role changed?
Gosh. Yeah, so one thing I was very naive because leadership is really hard. It's really, really hard. But also it changes from stage to stage. So in the beginning, I was doing everything myself. Then once we started to get the team in the storage unit, I started to focus a lot more on marketing, product development. That's really where I shine. And I've realized, like, do you know what? If you know your lanes, stay there.
Yes. Takes a while to get that though, doesn't it?
It is, yeah. But I'm like, I really do know a lot about marketing, and I do know a ton about product. So I decided to stay there. But then the fires started to happen. Like, okay, this needs to come in. So then I also became very much operative, and I was also in the operations as well. I hired my brother to be my CFO, my fiance to be my COO. And I was like, oh, is this a good idea at the time? Not realizing when we got to the Sunday Times dinner that, do you know how many brothers and sisters, husbands and wives and all of that were founders together? And I was like, oh, well, okay, well, everyone's just doing whatever they like, because ultimately, is there a rule? Like, there's no rule in life.
If it works for you,
If it works, it works, right? And if it doesn't, please don't do it.
It's always something that scared me.
Yeah.
I just always worry about but you hear so many of these incredible stories, and like, I've got friends that have only worked with their sister because they're like, no, there's going to be nobody that I trust more in the world. But I've always got scared to mix that, like, friends and family in business, because I would hate for anything to ever ruin the friends and family.
Those were my mistakes in the beginning.
Right, okay.
Those were 100% my mistakes in the beginning. And again, that time was great, but ultimately I should have separated it on the staff level.
Okay.
I think on a leadership level, I think it's perfectly fine.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And it's so funny because my mum, even though she booted me out the house, she really was interested in what I was doing. And because she's like such an amazing cook, it was very easy for her to like help me out with certain formulas.
Right.
So she even started to own some of the products, and she started to make it. when we were in the storage unit, we couldn't do everything there. So she was still making stuff at home. So there was like a time where I was like, you're getting to retirement age, you need to like chill out, babe. And she was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm coming into the warehouse like two times a week. So like to this day, like I still have to like be like, girl, you're in retirement, you know that, but she loves it. She loves the mission.
Nice.
So my mom's not an issue at all. My brother and my fiance not an issue at all. But yeah, I should have just made some other decisions.
But I almost think that is so close that it would be very hard
never
for that
been
to
a problem.
be an issue. Yeah, but when it's your
But-
mum
but
and
I
your
hear it.
brother. Yeah.
But that's why you have to know like
Who you're taking with you.
Because
Yes.
my brother had 10 years in finance, and my fiance, he worked in a manufacturing consultancy. So it's not that just because I was working with them, like they had the necessary skill sets that I needed in these roles, and they had the knowledge I didn't.
Yes.
So that was why it worked. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just that they were there, like they were there and they were competent.
Because of their skill set too.
And then there's
Exactly
also a level of respect that's given across the board, where I'm going to let you do you, you're in your lane, I'm in my lane. And when it comes to like us stepping up, then we have to do that.
And I suppose it's also nice for you, for your team, to always have you there in those leadership roles too. You know what I mean? If you're not present, and today that you're here, or there's sort of that, your tone of voice is within the team, because I suppose it's your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if it can work out for you, what a privilege to be able to share that
100%
with your family.
100%, 100%. So yeah, an accidental family business.
There you go. I love it though. It's so, and I love seeing that, because I think it's so, if you can have it, as I said, it's so special. Okay, should we do Rocket Round?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. They're altered. They're slightly new.
Oh, okay.
I'm changing the odd one here and there, which I quite like. But we'll start with the classic. What do you think are the non-negotiables for launching a business?
Product has to be on point, whatever it is. Product or service, because not every business is a product-based business.
Yeah.
So product or service, whatever it is, whatever you're giving to the market, please let it be the top notch you can give. You have to know how to market that service or product. You have to know, and you have to go with the times, because marketing changes every 12 hours. And it's tiring, but we have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I also do think unique difference, pointing that out early on and just doubling, tripling down on that unique point of difference.
Right.
I think for Plantade, we knew two things. We knew how to communicate with our customers different to everyone else, but we also launched products that were really life-changing, and to continue to do that time and time again and not let go of that. So important. You must do it. Last thing would be continuous learning. You're not going to know everything in the beginning, and you're not going to know the things you don't know until you get to the positions and the situations where it comes for knowledge
Still then you think you know.
You can't grasp on, but you just have to learn quick. Learning quick is probably the best skill any founder
You're
can have.
so right. Just be a sponge and absorb it all.
Yeah.
And it's the asking, isn't it? And when you're trying to learn quick, not being afraid to go, hi.
Yeah.
Do you know when you did this thing? You always know somebody that's been there, or you're sort of, what do they say? It's like the 7 degrees of separation. Like you can access someone that's done something similar that might be able to give you a nugget of information if you ask. People are more generous with their time and knowledge than we predict. I think there's that embarrassment of asking.
Specifically with the UK, the bothersome, like that whole, like, I don't want to bother you. Like, it's not a bother.
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah, it's not a bother. Like, guys, like, we need to, like, be begged sometimes. Like, you know?
Bother away. Next question is, what was the moment that you first realised that you truly launched?
Ooh. The first launch of Plantade. That was June 22nd, 2020. And we made, I think, £10,000 that day.
Wow.
And I said, okay, this is really something. And let's figure out how to make it more of something.
Let's get back in that kitchen. Let's make
Let's whip up some more of that oil.
What is The first thing you do when you wake up and the last thing you do before you go to bed.
I'm probably going to be the most like unproductive person.
I just want to know the truth.
The truth is, I'm on my phone. Yeah. I'm on my phone. But what I'm doing is, I'm either on TikTok because I'm chronically online, if we're being honest.
Okay.
But I also follow a lot of founders.
Right.
I follow a lot of founders and business owners and people just sharing their stories. So I'm always like downloading that. And then either that or I'm reading an article or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first thing found. I think if everybody was honest, I think that's probably the first.
It's something I'm changing.
I know, and we all want to get better. And it's not that we're going to be on it for hours at the time, but you just look. Don't
Yeah,
you?
just look.
Yes,
Well,
I
people
bought
at
an
the
alarm.
calendar.
I've bought an alarm clock. You know,
Oh,
because I was
kind?
using it as my excuse to have
Yeah.
my alarm.
Is it one of
And
those?
also, yes, and also look at the time. When you wake up and you think, what time is it in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
So now I'm like making a habit of plugging my phone in the other side of the room.
I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I know. It's still not like some nights I'm hanging off the bed, like it's on the plug, and I'm like hanging off the bed to just like wrap it up. But yeah, if the intent is there, I'm getting better slowly but surely. One piece of advice that you wish you hadn't listened to.
Oh, this is. There's a lot of them.
Oh, okay. We're here for them all.
Because the main thing is that business doesn't go how any business goes. Like every business is very, very different. So there was someone who literally told me, "Oh, this is how things are gonna go. Like you're gonna get from here to here, here, and you're gonna do this and do that." And that's not how it happened. Like someone was trying to tell me or advise me to compromise on the quality of my ingredients because I need to basically maximize my margins.
Take more of a margin. on it.
And I was like, well, that's going to impact the customers and also the efficacy of the product. I didn't listen to it, but I can't believe it was given because if you knew me, you would know that that's not a compromise I'm willing to take.
And it started with the product.
Yeah,
That
start
was
with
the
the
whole
product. It's going to
purpose.
end with the product as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, just people thinking they know how your business is going to go, should go, and
It's almost like projecting their kind of
Yes.
own intent onto you.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to, we say be a sponge and absorb everything, but you don't have to
yeah,
absorb something that you don't feel.
yes, yeah. So I think it's definitely relying on your instincts in a lot of moments because people always have something to say,
Yes.
but not everything said needs to be listened to.
Yes. Not always by you. Fair. Very fair. What is a skill that you'd love to learn?
I wish I was a video editor.
Oh, yeah.
I swear that would really change my life right now.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure the
I'm
girl who's
sitting on-
editing your video don't
I'm
wish
sitting
that.
on a lot of videos right now.
Everyone in the room's just laughing as they're videoing, like, no, thank you. We'll keep that job. I know what you mean because I'm like, I have an eye that I know the way that I like stuff,
Yeah.
but the actual doing. I think that about graphic design.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, I'd love to be able to do what is in my brain rather than having to say and say it down the phone or
Yeah.
in a meeting and like no more like I know what I
Yes,
mean, I just
yeah,
can't get it
yeah.
out and it's not happening yet.
Sometimes I feel like I guess we're both creatives, but it's like the technical part is
Yes,
it might be missing a little bit.
That's me,
And
but I
yeah.
think we have to be at peace with the fact that we'd be dangerous and we'd never be off our phones
You're
or our
actually right.
laptops if we could.
It was God's will.
It was God's
That's
will.
fair.
We need a bit of peace. We need a bit of peace. What one thing that you wish someone had told you before you'd started your business? Trademark.
Outside from that, I think. This is a good question. I think the thing I would wanted to hear was that it's gonna be hard, but do it anyway.
Yes. It's so true.
Because the points where people were delusional with me, and when then things were going a bit left, they weren't there to be delusional with me then, right? When it's hard, you're on your own. When things are good, like, oh, everyone wants to be in the party.
Yes.
But yeah, like, it's going to be hard a lot of the time, but do it anyway. Just Yeah. So I guess I'm saying that to you.
Yeah, stick
To
with
everyone
it.
here.
No, it's so true. It's so true. Oh, I love this one. What would be the dream collab for your brand? Because we see these big like partnerships now with, you know, we're yet to see it, and I've mentioned them already, but Skims and Nike, we're seeing
That
it
was so
everywhere.
epic.
And I feel like Skims have done such a powerful job when it comes to collabs. They're kind of, it's the way that it must boost their revenue and everyone else's, because now it's like these drops that you want from these other big players, and they come and they go, but they're so powerful and impactful. If Plant Made could have a collab with anyone, who would it be?
This might be niche.
We love niche.
I'd want it to be like a herbal cafe.
Ooh.
Because we like the shampoo's made of matcha. Our conditioner's made of hibiscus. Like, that is my vibe. Like,
yes.
I think a herbal cafe with Plant Made, having the products there, having the drinks inspired by the ingredients. I just think that's epic.
Well, this has got to happen. I'm like, next launch, this is a thing. Yes.
Fingers crossed. I need to make it happen.
Yeah, well, we've put it into the universe today. It has to.
Has to.
It's like it's all there.
It's already launched.
Yeah, exactly. How is it not done? And if you could choose one female figure as a mentor, past or present, who do you think that would be?
It's funny because she was your first guest.
She's a dream.
Emma
Emma Grade.
do you know what it is? From here, knows what it's like growing up here. Mm-hmm. The mentality of the UK. It's very difficult mentally sometimes to build here because we don't have the euphoric, American dream of the Americans.
Yes.
But the way she's just been able to work the system, work similar jobs to me, and I don't know, I just see a lot of synergies in our
she is
in our
such
journeys.
and she is so inspiring for so many reasons. But I think what's amazing, and I think her biggest quality, is that those kind of, and we spoke about them on the podcast, those kind of East London values and that kind of girl energy is the way that she operates business, is the way that, that's the way she grew up. And it's all of those qualities that at the time she probably didn't know that they were going to mean anything in business. And now she's stateside, global, wherever in the world, cutting those deals and doing it in a way that is so, I think, unique to her.
And do you know what it is? It's like you hear sometimes when people reach a level of success, they change, or they, even some people were trying to put that on me. And I was like, guys, please, we're not doing that. I'm a normal person. Yeah. It's just a job at the end of the day.
Well, I think what happens is I also think that we're all scared of, and I think that's the British thing in us, that we are scared that change makes us, that's seen as a negative, isn't it? It's seen as you've changed, and it's kind of, it's not said or meant in a positive way, but I am like, yes, I have. Not me, not my values, not what how I treat people.
Exactly.
But things have changed. We should all be changing.
Yes.
But my situation's changed, which has in some ways probably, of course, made me change. But I think Emma's living proof of that. Of a lot has changed for her.
But still,
and her capabilities and what she can do with her life, but she hasn't. She is honestly like the most inclusive person, the person that will put herself out for anybody. And I've really seen it with me. And she doesn't know, she didn't know me that well. And now it's like we WhatsApp, and I love it.
I love that.
Although I'm like, I need to play it a bit cooler. I'm like, hey girl, we're doing.
Fangirling every time.
Yeah. But she's so lovely and so generous. I say close. We've got one more bit before I let you leave. But I always like every guest to share a tangible tip and a piece of advice that I suppose you would give to you pre-looking to doing this. But I suppose to any lady looking to launch, if you had one tip, what would that be?
We're in the point of history where business is competitive in most industries. So it's hard to see that there's something that could be done that's new. And you might think it might be a waste of your time, you know?
You can't reinvent the wheel at this
You
point.
can't. You can't. There's literally been so much
many
done
ideas,
in the last
so
100
many-
years that it's just, but still, if it's on your heart, it has to come out because it's on your heart for a reason. Launching is the thing to do. Like that is the tip first and foremost. From there, navigating it, because there's so many things. It's hard to pinpoint one thing sometimes in my head, because most of the time I just see people, the starting part, the mental game of being a founder is the hardest part, not the skill sets, because you wouldn't even be thinking about it if you didn't have the skills.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like you start with everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you start with everything you need.
Yes.
And then as you grow, you learn along the way. But I think the tangible thing to take away from, I guess, my story is build that mental. That is gonna be your biggest advantage. Not only in your zones of genius, figuring out where in the business you'll probably be, what you would be doing for probably the rest of that business's life.
Yeah.
Figuring that out and tripling down on that, but also the mental fortitude of building something from scratch is those are my two.
Well, it takes every part of you, doesn't it? And I think that's the thing that you can't ever prepare for.
Yeah.
It's like when I do this a lot, and actually Dior, who's my life coach, who has been on the
She's
podcast,
amazing.
we love her. You shouldn't actually always compare it to having a baby. because it feels so personal and so like your child that you find. And she actually says you shouldn't call it your baby because actually that it makes it a little too personal. I'm like, no, but it is really personal. But she says it's actually healthy to have that, because if you call it your baby, that's someone that you've grown with, and you wouldn't let anyone say anything about your baby. But sometimes you have to say things about your business, and parts of your business might fail. Yeah, but you have to remember that it is the business that's failed, not you.
Yes, and that's also something I had to learn. That's important. I had to learn that I am not plant-made. Yes, I am not.
You're not,
because that's too much.
That's
exactly
way too much.
That's way too much.
Plant-made. This didn't happen for plant-made, but I'm still good, and I'm going to provide the solution, the idea for this to go again.
Plant-made. Exactly.
So it's so you, but it's being able to separate that and be a little bit objective. I'm working. I'm saying it cringing because it's something I try really hard.
It's probably a lifelong journey.
It is. It's evolution. And lastly, I want to know how you spend your lunch hour, because in my brain, you make everything.
Yes.
In my brain, it's like this. Your lunch hour is. Look at you. You're frowning at me already. You're like, girl. Your lunch hour is so wholesome, and you're like, the herbs are there, and we're all having like this wholesome broth. Is that what we're doing?
I mean, sometimes I can't even lie. I'm not even gonna.
I love this.
Sometimes I store some hibiscus. I'm like, guys, I need to make a tea.
Yes.
Real quick. Yes. But a lot of the time, I'm just like, how can we do this better? A lot of the time, it's how can we cater to the customers more? I'm sorry, my brain doesn't switch off. If I'm being honest, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. And like I'm so in the market that I'm using other products. I'm seeing things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they really executed well.
So your lunch hour is almost still researching. It's not. Do you sit and take a break?
I do now.
I don't believe you.
I do now. I generally do. I love a steam and a sauna. I love a wellness break. I do love a wellness break. I do love a little gym, lift the weights and all that. But I'm probably listening to a business podcast at the same time.
Yeah, but that's good. That's still a switch off. That's still not your.
Yes. So that's me. Love a walk, love a hike.
Okay.
Love that.
And would you make time in like the working day for that, or are they like the bookend moments where you do that once you finish so you can switch off?
I've had to schedule in afternoon walk on my calendar.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Almost treat it as
like
a
it's
non-negotiable, like it's a meeting, like it's.
So the new year, really, I was like, no, I need to change. Like it's too much.
The meeting with yourself before you go back into anything
100%.
else.
So I'm trying to put that in.
And what are you going to eat in your lunch break after or before you walk?
I eat I'm too busy to cook, if I'm being honest. So I eat a simmer, which is another. Is it a small business? I don't know. They're fast growing.
Yeah.
One of my mates called Simi. He has a food delivery business.
Oh.
All the macros are on there. It's like 400 calories, 40 grams of protein.
Oh, it's done the work for you.
Done the work. So on the weekends I'll cook, but on the week I'm eating that on the go.
And that goes back to what Emma's saying. She doesn't bother making small decisions. You see? Simi's done it for you.
Yeah.
I need to get on this.
I need to get on more of the small decisions I need to get out.
Yes.
I'm trying to grow this business to 100 million, so.
You've got time to worry about what's in your lunch. Exactly that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have loved this conversation. It's been so brilliant. And congratulations on everything.
Thank
the
you so
world
much.
Is your oyster.
Thanks so much for having me.
Don't forget to follow us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcast to make sure that you don't miss out, because next week we're going to be talking to another incredible lady who launched. If, like me, you're a watcher, follow us on YouTube and please don't forget to like and subscribe.